being a clown is not easy.
Yes.
You know, it is shedding an ego, losing yourself for the bigger cause. You know, shedding your ego, shedding your status, shedding a designation, shedding a power. What are you? I'm a joker.
I'm a joker.
I'm a joker. I have this crazy dress. I do these crazy things. I'm just like each one of you. So when you are ready to shed that ego, that sense of power or whatever you think money or status or whatever has given you, it's nothing when you go into that ward and see this child.
So the crossroads of pain that losing your son brought you to has also shown you the path to, finding yourself. This is your Meenamma, and you are with me in the candid corner of Meet Meenamma. Today we have with us our very special program, Made in Vizag. Vizag has a sobriquet, the City of Destiny. Let's check out an exclusive story of a very special person, a person very dear to me, who is here in the studio with us to tell us the story of how Vizag became the City of Destiny and his destination to excellence. Let me introduce you to this wonderful person here. Meet my special guest. Born in Vizag in 1957 at the King George Hospital, today's special guest came into the world thanks to a failed condom. Yes, you heard me right. His parents, Late Sita Ganapati and Late Professor P.N. Ganapati, were a worried lot. What with this late child in their life with someone who slipped through into this world? He finished his schooling, ISC, from the Timpany School and followed it up with a 2-year stint at the National Defence Academy, Khadakvasla. Due to some special medical problems, he was compelled to leave his potential career with the armed forces and did his B.Tech in chemical engineering at Andhra University. He also completed MBA in marketing while working. A midlife crisis struck this man when he was just 40. And he could not get a worthy job in the industry in Vizag, in Mana Vizag. He then decided to take up teaching as a profession with kids, which has been a passion with him, and started home tuitions. He went on to teach and administer a few business schools and became the founder principal of the ICFI National College at Vizag. Thereafter, he became the regional head of ICFI National College, heading 16 centers in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Today, after 23 years in the field of training and education, he's an advisor and mentor for different companies, including startups. He's into training and management consultancies and is also a certified life coach practitioner. He's the chairman also of an NGO, the Rohit Memorial Trust, which is into cancer awareness and counseling, educating underprivileged children, also into medical clowning and other social upliftment causes. He is an Amazon bestseller author for his book, On the Rocks, A Single Malt or a Stranded Soul. The choice is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the perfect ambassador for Made in Vizag. Born in old Vizag, he has seen himself in different roles at different crossroads that life has brought him to. What can be more perfect to vouch for than this gentleman being in the City of Destiny? His story will tell you, his life is never a bed of roses. It is always your inner strength that will guide you to your final destination. Thereafter, you may meet Tim Pot, Andhra University alumnus, core team member and chemical engineer of a well-known polymer manufacturer, MBA and regional head of a top academic body, Amazon best-selling author, corporate trainer and soft skill merchant, above all, a medical clown and social scientist. It's now for you to see the one and only limited edition human being, Ganapati Anantram. How are you, Anantram? How does it feel to be with Meet Meenamma today?
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Meenakshi. Yes, Vizag has done magic for me, and I'm proud to be here.
Tell me about your childhood. You know, it's very interesting. I introduced you as a person who's here because of a broken condom. Tell us that story.
Well, I just slipped through. My siblings were all very much older to me. And my brother, my immediate elder brother, is 7 years older to me. I don't think I was a planned child. And then, when my dad was 47, they suddenly realized they're going to have one more kid. Yeah, they didn't plan the family well. And I think I'm the happier one for that.
Yes, I'm sure your family is very happy to have you because of that one bad accident, good accident. But tell us, how was Vizag as you grew up? Tell us about your childhood, your friends, your school.
Oh, Vizag was a hamlet, a small place, a lovely place, open skies, wonderful trees, very few buildings, well-spaced houses, warm friends, lots of trees to climb. And one special aspect of my childhood was a wonderful animal house that the zoology department in the university had. So I grew up feeding rabbits, watching deer giving birth to their babies, feeding the rats caught in a house to crocodiles, tons of pigeons, peacocks, and I played with all those animals.
And what do you owe this special status that you had with animals too?
To my dad. He was the head of the Department of Zoology in another university, the founding professor. And they used to maintain this animal house in the university. And when I was not in school, I was at the animal house.
Your father was a very, very eminent biologist, marine biologist. The word Professor P.N. Ganapati gives goosebumps to people like me, to scientists. So being born in P.N. Ganapati's house, and that too so late, how was P.N. Ganapati having a child so late in his life? How did he react to you?
Oh, he treated me very well. I can only remember one instance where he left the mark of 5 fingers on my back. I vaguely remember that he hit me just once. But I spent my childhood walking with him, learning a lot from him. And I used to play shuttle with him in within our home. It was a great time with him, a lot of learning, and I had the additional benefit of a grandfather who was also staying in the same compound with us. So,
Anantram, now you all don't belong to Vizag. You all are from Palaghat. You all are basically Tamil Brahmins who from Palaghat area, isn't it? That is Kerala. And your family chose to come to Vishakhapatnam and make Vizag its home. So you all were actually the new generation coming into a new city. How was it when your family actually came here? Your siblings, they might have been traveling in bullock carts or they must have seen jungles around. How was Vizag when your family first came here?
Oh, they used to go to school in a tanga, what they call a tonga. Yeah. My brother and sisters used to come in a tanga to see me when I was just born in the hospital. They used to go to school in a tonga. There were no buses, nobody had cars, there were no telephones, nothing. It was a wonderful life. And, well, things have changed a lot. But I must tell you something very interesting, that Vizag has seen this major change only after the 90s. Even when I was in college, it was still a nice small place. I remember when I was in college, nobody would be on the beach.
The beach would be deserted?
Deserted.
Oh.
And I had this bike, so I would zip around at over 100 kmph on my bike with not a soul in sight.
Tell me about school first. You studied in Timpany School. It's one of the top schools in the city. So how was Timpany School? What was your experience going to that school?
Oh, I must tell you something more interesting. I was in a girls' school till my second standard.
Okay.
The St. Joseph's Girls' School.
Yes, that was also an old school.
Yes. And that's because there were no schools close to where we lived. And when Timpany School opened its new campus in the city area, where it still is, well, my dad said, better somewhere closer. And it was run by the Canadian Baptist Mission. And I owe a lot of my education, my interest in English to that school.
Yes. Any specific teacher who might be watching your show that you would like to thank at this time?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't think any of them are around to see me. But yes, many of my friends are there. And my favorite teacher was one Mrs. Millen.
Yes.
And she inspired me in English. And I continue to learn English because of her. And I honed my English because of her. I owe all my gratitude to that one teacher.
Yes.
Who-
Anantram, then you went to NDA. See, this is the turning point. Many young people who are watching this interview are always thinking how difficult it is to get into NDA. And Vizag being a naval port city, people always want to be in that uniform. Tell us about your experience. What did you learn? Because you didn't finish your course at NDA. So what was NDA all about for you?
India was an accident. So after finishing my schooling, my dad was already retired from service, and he was worried how he was going to fund my education. And I wrote the National Science Talent Scholarship exam. I wrote the Merchant Navy, the T.S. Rajendra exam, which was the Dufferin in those days. Then I wrote my NDA exam. I wrote the IIT entrance exam. And, well, I qualified in all of them. And the results came in such a way that, each one was clashing with the other.
Okay.
And I was at my wit's end because everything came on the same day. And I was wondering, how the hell could it come on the same day?
And you had to make a choice.
And I had to make a
immediately.
choice.
Okay.
And, well, the NDA was at an advanced stage. And then my dad said, hey, that's a good option. You're made for life if you join the NDA. I said, fine. I had zero military knowledge, zero military training, a fat, chubby kid with hardly any sports background. And there was a roly-poly guy who went for his SSB interview. Well, India was a wonderful experience. It's one of the best experiences I can talk about. And I really wish that every student today, once you cross the age of 18, 1 year of training in such a...
It should be compulsory.
Should be compulsory.
So it made a little boy a man.
Absolutely. I learned a lot. It was 4 semesters, 4 terms as they call it. It was a great experience. I learned horse riding. I learned boxing. I learned cross-country running. I learned marching. Of course, I learned academics. I built my social circle, and I'm still in touch with all my course mates. It was a great experience. I mean, you must visit that academy sometime in life.
At Khadakvasla?
At Khadakvasla. Huge messes, huge facilities. There were only 250 intake in those days of cadets in a year.
So even today,
every 6 months.
It's a very prestigious course even today. I mean, I think it's one of the top courses in the country.
No, in the world.
In the world,
Oh,
wow.
yes. We have so many foreigners who come and do their training at the National Defence Academy. It's a very prestigious course, and all the chiefs of our Navy, Army and Air Force, most of the time are ex-NDA.
Yes, yes.
Because they are very focused, laser focused on their job, on what they do and what they deliver. I'm so proud of them.
Now tell me, you were in NDA for those 4 semesters or the terms, and suddenly you had a medical problem and you had to eject. You had lost that much of time in college life also, and you had to get back to normal college routine life. How was it? I mean, it must have been very depressing because you had to come back and retrace your steps while most of your classmates had moved on. How was that crossroads? I'm just talking about the crossroads, like I told you. And I see a man who has come to different crossroads. And Vizag, the city, has helped you to grow. So, what happened at that crossroads when you came back and you had to start college again?
When I came back, I was 17 years old. 17? No. I was 19 years old. And I was cribbing. 2 years of my life has gone, precious life. One stern look from my father. He said, do you know something? You have had 2 years of experience that very few others in the country have had.
Wonderful.
It will stand you in good stead.
So you
Look ahead.
You learned life in 2
I
years.
learned life. Go ahead. It is going to stand you in good stead. I said, yes. Yes, Appa. And I went ahead. I didn't look back after that. I never cribbed again.
And how did you fare in college?
Oh, I got the third rank in the university in my engineering. I loved chemistry. I did chemical engineering. It was great. And I must tell you something which you probably don't know. I got a scholarship to go abroad. $900 a month research assistantship
That was
with a tuition fee waiver.
handsome sum those days.
Oh yes, in a prestigious college in New Jersey called Stevens Institute of Technology.
But what happened?
Destiny. You were talking of Vizag, the city of destiny. Destiny has hit me at every step. It made sure I did what was destined for me. I am very sure that there is some force that is guiding our lives. You know, I got my I-20 and the dean had forgotten to sign it.
Oh, what a shame. So when you went in for the visa,
Yes,
okay.
there was no signature on the I-20 and he sent a telegram, he apologized, but the embassy said, no, come back with a signed I-20.
Okay.
I had left a seat in IIT Kanpur for one of the most prestigious M.Tech courses
Yes.
to go abroad. I left that. I couldn't go back there. I had everything on a platter and I was with nothing in hand.
Anantram, at that moment, everything was going away from you. Do you think it was worth staying back in Vizag and living here the rest of your life, or do you always feel bad that you didn't take that jump into the United States or to a better life as people would think?
That's a wonderful question, Meenakshi. What happened after this was I applied for a job. It was a classified ad. And guess what the job was? Gwalior Rayons in Nagda
Oh, wow.
as a process engineer. So I said, okay, why don't I take that up? Another
So this was after your chemical engineering.
after my chemical engineering, yes. And then I met this wonderful girl and we decided to get married despite whatever the parents would say. And then I found my dad had retired. My mother and my aunt were there in the house. And I said, okay, if I go there, who's going to take care of these people? So, I don't know. I got my signed I-20 3 months later.
But you chose not to use it?
I chose not to use it.
Oh, that's
I said let me see what happens. So I was back in 1982, continuing with the job. I picked up a job closer home in that year, which was at Hindustan Polymers, a unit of McDowell. And then a year and a half later, my dad passed away. So I think that's what Destiny said. Hey, you better be around. He was all of 73 when he passed away.
And you must have been 25,
Yeah.
26.
Yes. And yeah, I had a wife, I had a mother, I had an aunt to take care of. What would have happened to them if I was not around? There was none of my siblings were around.
Yes. So Vizag has been kind in taking in, embracing you all and taking care of you.
Destiny.
Destiny. Now tell me, many of the viewers who know you, they would remember you as the most excellent tuition teacher. During your college days, you were known, sought after. In fact, I still remember some of my classmates used to, come to me and butter me up just to get introduction to you because they wanted you to teach them maths, physics and chemistry. So you were very sought after. Why were you giving tuitions when you were yourself a student for chemical engineering?
Passion. I love teaching. Right? I had a bike to maintain. And then I said, why not teach? And a few friends said, hey, why don't you teach? Family, not my friends, my dad's friends. My daughter, they were just maybe 4, 5, 6 years younger to me, having some difficulty in maths, some difficulty in science. I had very strong fundamentals in maths, physics and chemistry. So I said, okay, let me try and teach. I love it. I had a bike to move around, so I would go home to home And guess what? I was earning 350 rupees a month.
Oh, that was a lot of money.
A lot of money in those days. I would give 200 rupees to my mom every
Oh.
month. 150 was for my expenses, my petrol, my bike maintenance, my biryanis, my movies, and my masti with my friends.
What fun.
I never took a rupee from my dad. All that my dad invested in was a bike,
Okay.
nothing else.
So there was chemical engineering, then there was Hindustan Polymers, and you had become an engineer. You were part of a core team for the setting up of a very prominent polystyrene factory in Vizag, and everything was going well for you. What is this midlife crisis you talk about? What happened to you?
You know, I don't know whether destiny bites or some bug bites. So in '93, I was very happy in my job. It was a routine operation job, full of stress and trouble, but it was very routine. And I loved projects. So I said, why not get into a new project? So I quit this job with the blessings of my boss and joined a project that was setting up a shrimp processing plant, in no way related to chemicals. But for a project manager, a project is a project. Did a wonderful job there. Then we were doing a project in Vizag. Then suddenly, Destiny said, hey, you're too happy.
The roads closed?
No, the project was shelved.
Oh, okay.
The project was shelved, and then the people who were promoting some other projects were not really serious in what they were doing. I said, no, I got to do something else. So then I joined a friend of mine, did a bit of trading. Things were not going too well there. And then I said, let me look for another job. I quit that, and there were no jobs in Vizag.
Yes.
A family, 2 children, a wife's just starting a business, a mother who needed a lot of care, and no money in the kitty. 5 months, zero income, it was tough.
Yes.
I had to borrow some money from my mother, from our pension funds. I had to deny our children and the family the small pleasures of life in terms of food also, I remember. But yes, I said, my love is teaching. Why don't I start teaching? And I found my sons suffering in school.
So did that old tuition teacher come back and resurrect itself?
Yes, yeah. I said, hey, this is what I can do. And my son, I was teaching my son. Then my son said, hey, some of my friends are interested. And before I could say Jack Robinson, I had 28 kids.
Your house was full.
I had 28 kids whom I used to teach maths, physics and chemistry. And then my eldest sister said, hey, I'm also free. I'm going to pitch in with biology and English. And we had the whole package.
Yes. Yes.
And it was going great guns.
I remember this was maybe the 90s and people, late 90s. And I remember Anantram was a household name for tuitions, and many kids did well in that batch. In fact, they are all big company CEOs today. And Vizag is really proud of you. Thank you so much, Anantram, for teaching. But you know, after that, moving out of industry, getting into academics, you didn't stop with just becoming a house tuition teacher. You moved on to make a really big impact. You took the higher ground. So for some time, you were there as a teacher at home, but then suddenly you went back into a very powerful role. Tell us about it.
So what happened was, I started teaching in a business school, one of the affiliated colleges in Vizag, because a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you come and teach an MBA? And he said, an MBA is nothing but experience sharing. So I said, oh yeah, I thought I'd just give it a shot. And within a month, I was taking 20 hours a week.
You were teaching
I was
MBA
teaching
students.
MBA students.
Okay.
And the attendance was full, only in my classes. And then I asked the students, hey, I've just been here for a month. Why do you guys come for my classes? What do you find? They said, sir, you teach us what is not there in the textbook.
That
I
is
said, oops.
wonderful.
I said, oops, I'm sorry, I think I had to reinvent. No, sir, this is what we want. We are very capable of reading textbooks, but you give us the real experience, and that's what an MBA is all about. None of our other faculty are able to deliver that value to us. You are valuable to us. So I went on, I was heading that institution. I left that, I became the principal of another institution, a bigger one. And then came the opportunity with ICFI setting up. ICFI is a big name
Yes.
in the business school and finance education in India. And they were setting up a college called the ICFI National College in Vizag. They're looking for a principal. I walked into this interview room and I saw all the PhDs and plenty of, senior, very senior people there. And I was pretty young. I was, what, 50 years old then? Not even 50, no, not even 50. I was 44, 45. And I said, what do I lose? Well, I got the job.
You got the job.
I got the job as the principal of the college. There was no looking back thereafter.
Yes, I think not just ICFI, there are many MBA students who talk about you with great respect, not just your own students. People have used you as a Bible, as an encyclopedia, not just for the subject but also life experiences. And you've always shared with your students and your friends your true life. You've never hidden your pains. You always talked about pains and pleasures, how they've traveled with you. Vizag makes us like that, makes us simply palpable people, isn't it? After that, what happened? Tell us, your family your children were growing up, your wife's business was growing, your mother was getting old, and then there was a tragedy in your house. So tell us about this. Again, life had to come back and put you on a crossroads. So suddenly in 2006, 2007, just when the family was settling down, again Vizag saw Anantram at the crossroads. This is a very difficult part for a family, and would like to know how what happened at that time.
Well, 2006 was the year that I became the regional head for ICFI, Andhra Pradesh. It was 2006. I had a lot more responsibilities, but the biggest weight on my shoulder was in the month of October, when my 21-year-old son, Rohit, was diagnosed with cancer. I have been on a roller coaster, but this was the greatest twist in the life, my life, the life of the whole family. I know what destiny does. You cry alone. If you laugh, at least you get a little bit of inspiration to face life head on. So I said, well, let's take it as it comes. We lost our son in 5 months, in early 2007, March, and it was devastating, because I had my other son was also Rahul. He was finishing his first year of college, and it was very tough for the whole family. But then what do you do? I mean, what can one do? Well, initial days were spent in a lot of grief. A lot of realization came on terms of who our true sympathizers and empathizers were, who our friends were, who our true family was. Yeah, but it was a very big learning experience. And then, I just remembered what my grandfather taught me. Never say die, say damn. I can share the whole, it's a small poem. Never say die, say damn. Oh, damn it, yeah, come on, let's move on. And we thought that the best way to move on is to remember this wonderful boy's life, this brilliant, lovely kid that we had. Let's celebrate his life. And why not start a small NGO in his memory? So we founded the Rohit Memorial Trust, which today is 16 years old. And we've been doing a lot of things in a small way, impacting lots of lives. And, well, it's been a very interesting journey. And with the kind of roller coaster background that I've had, I think we were prepared to deliver what was required.
Rohit Memorial Trust was born in 2008, you say. There's been a lot that has been written on that page. But I would like to stop now and take you to the time when you authored your first book and then became Amazon bestseller. It's incredible. The book, I have read the book, it's absolutely a masterpiece. So tell us more about your book and how you wrote the book, how you thought about it, and what is the content of that book?
So I've been in the field of education since '98, and I've been watching the progress of this generation, Gen Y, 25 to 40-year-olds, a very unstable lot of people, entitled. They don't understand relationships. I know many of them, but when they get into a relationship, they change. Many of my students were getting divorced
Yes.
for, I don't know, I don't like to go too much into personal, but they thought they could trust me and they shared the reasons. And I found that, they're unable to sustain a relationship. So as I kept going deeper and deeper into this, I found that there is something seriously wrong.
Is this the millennials or?
Yeah, the millennials.
Okay.
Yes. So I thought something on relationships would help, so that, at least these generations, Gen Y and hopefully the Gen Z, would benefit or at least learn to understand themselves and how to sustain a relationship. I had lots of case studies, lots of ideas, and I always said, what is there? I can always write a book, but I never wrote the book. And then came along this the pandemic, and I came across a training community called TLC. And they said, write a book in 90 days. I said, I thought it was a joke. But I said, well, nothing better to do during the pandemic. So I joined that community. That was a life-changing moment to write my book. They gave me a beautiful blueprint. I just followed the blueprint to a T. And, well, my manuscript was ready in 3 months. But the editing took another 2 to 3 months because I am a nitpicky fellow when it comes to editing. And the book it saw the light of the day.
What is the title of the book? A very interesting one.
So, it's called On the Rocks. A single malt or a stranded soul, the choice is yours. So the moment somebody said, hey, are you going to give us single malt whiskey choices? I said, no. It's either celebrate or be celibate.
So you sing to either, you drink to either celebrate or to feel sad.
No, to overcome your sadness in
sorrow.
a temporary reprieve from
So
sadness.
what are you drinking for?
So when you're stranded on the rocks, you're just depressed and you're alone. When you celebrate and have a drink with your friends,
It's on the rocks.
it's on the rocks and you have fun.
So the same word
Yeah.
takes different meanings.
Yeah, and you make that choice in life. You want to have fun, you want to be depressed. You make that choice. And it's very easy to get depressed, but it's easier to smile and celebrate.
Celebrate.
And I got that book. Well, I did a lot of my case studies went into that book. I did a lot of research into the lives of people around me, and the book was there.
Wonderful. I'm so proud that you're an Amazon bestseller, and there are many people still picking up the book and getting back to you. I understand that it must be really an eye opener for that generation. Coming out of the book again, so now there was a new avatar, an author. And then tell us more about the NGO. What do you do in Rohit Memorial Trust? How do you celebrate your son's life?
Well, the very core reason to set this up was to counsel patients and their families about cancer and create awareness. That is the very foundation with which we started. And then Rohit loved a few things like education, music. So we said, okay, let's do some social upliftment in that area. So we started educating initially the underprivileged girls, they were doing well. And 2 years ago, we said, why should the boys suffer?
Be left back.
So we found some bright sparks in the boys. And I must say, we are now mentoring 25 children.
Excellent children, I believe.
Oh, they're doing wonderful. I mean, it's so heartwarming. And I continue to teach them.
Wonderful. And these are all children from below the poverty line.
Oh, yes.
So the impact is more.
Poverty is only the bank.
Yes.
They are very rich in their upbringing.
Values.
They are very rich in their values. They're very rich in their minds. And these children have proved that, I mean, they have redefined. I don't know, I don't think the word poverty is any more relevant.
Anantram, Vizag is full of stories like yours. People who keep doing different things on a roller coaster. But your story is so unique now at this point, because I am going to tell the world that you started palliative medical clowning, which is the first time that you and your wife are doing it for this country, India. Tell us more about medical clowning. You are so special because you're the first medical clown doing palliative medical clowning. Tell us more about this.
Palliative care is a very important part of treatment, especially for the terminally ill and for people suffering from cancer. You know, they need that temporary relief from their symptoms, and palliation helps. So I did this course from the Stanford University and on palliative care, and I found that, you know, medical clowning is a good way. You know, you bring a smile, all the happy hormones come up, and it gives a very warm feeling to a patient. You know, in a sterile atmosphere reeking with antiseptic and tubes through the nose, through the mouth, IV sets, the sterile environment. And when we walk in as medical clowns, the whole atmosphere changes. Children get smiles on their faces. We make clowns of ourselves, we clown around. But we counsel the parents are happy, the children are happy. So that half an hour to 1 hour is a happy moment for everyone. And it sets the mood for a happy treatment. And children take this so well. And more importantly, one of the best feedback we received during these clowning activities was from the nurses and the duty
They're
doctors.
also suffering, they're also burning.
So they say, hey,
Yes.
you guys come more often.
Yes, yes.
We can also smile. You
Yes.
give us that smile. So it's creating a lot of interest, and we want to increase our focus in this activity in the trust, because I think it is not a part of the medical curriculum. They don't teach too much of empathy, I'm sure, to our doctors, or life skills.
But is clowning a part of the curriculum now? In some countries, I
It's
think
a-
it's
yeah, they have
really-
started, yes. But see, being a clown is not easy.
Yes.
You know, it is shedding an ego, losing yourself for the bigger cause. You know, shedding your ego, shedding your status, shedding a designation, shedding a power. What are you? I'm a joker.
I'm a joker.
I'm a joker. I have this crazy dress. I do these crazy things. I'm just like each one of you. So when you are ready to shed that ego, that sense of power or whatever you think money or status or whatever has given you, it's nothing when you go into that ward and see this child. And
So
that
the
smile.
crossroads of pain that losing your son brought you to has also shown you the path to, finding yourself. And I understand that today, you have a tribe of clowns. So, you actually go to hospitals and you help patients to smile, people who are terminally ill mostly. And it's a great honorable job that you and your team do. And what makes you so powerful? I understand that there is one part of your body that changes, that makes you so powerful. So let us know about the part of the body that changes for you, apart from your clothes. Do you grow some extra parts of your body when you become a clown?
You don't need to grow. You can be yourself. But there are certain small magic you can do. Like when I travel, it's just a very small thing. I just need to do this.
And I need to just do this. So you see, medical clowning is very easy.
Yeah,
Once you have that,
that's all you need.
Once you have that nose, you're so powerful that you can
Yeah.
do so many things, such wonderful things to
Yes, of
change the
course.
world, isn't it?
Welcome to the world of clowning.
Yes, and how does someone become a clown, Mr. Anantram? How does someone become a medical clown?
Be ready to shed your ego.
How do they contact you? How do they get in touch with the
I'm all over the place.
trust? Is there a number that you would
Oh,
like to
yes.
give so that they could get in touch?
Sure. I have my own number. It hasn't changed in 16 years. And hopefully it won't change for the rest of my life. It's 99496 27222. And if you ever forget it, don't worry. Just find me on LinkedIn. I'm there. You just type in my name, Anantram Ganapati, and the first page of Google search has all my links, all the articles that I've written, everything about our trust, everything that I've said, everything that I've done.
And let me tell you, you can also go to the medical clowns of Vizag, and you will find an excellent video on what we guys do as clowns. You see, we are proud clowns. But Anantram, clowning aside, I would like to remind you of one particular day. I got a small note from somebody. There was a vapor leak in one of the factories, and in where you had worked earlier,
Oh, this
which
I'm
led
taking this off.
which led to the
Serious.
loss of a few lives. I understand that you were appointed as an expert member on the government committee that investigated this. Could you briefly elaborate on this? So after many years, did the chemical engineer again come back?
The chemical engineer never went out.
So tell us about this vapor leak and what happened in Vizag and how you were involved in that.
7th of May 2020, I heard there was a gas leak from the polymer plant. The polymer plant does not have gas. There are no gases there. I was perturbed. And then media was saying PVC gas has leaked. PVC is a polymer. People were, media, people panicking. Most of them said it's going to be a Bhopal gas tragedy in Vizag. And then when I started finding out what happened, I knew for a fact that all their fears were unfounded. Because what had leaked was the vapor of styrene monomer. Styrene monomer, if you want to know what it is, take a blood sample and you'll find it in my blood. I worked in that plant for 12 years. I have washed my hands in styrene monomer. I have worked on projects of styrene monomer. Styrene monomer is a very harmless hydrocarbon. Some maloperation, some partial negligence, whatever, led to that leak.
But there were people just dropping and fainting and dying
Yes.
and
Yeah. You see, that will happen with any gas, any vapor. It is asphyxiation. Styrene monomer is about 6 times heavier, 5 times heavier than air. So once it escaped from a tank where the vapor was formed, it was going out at a considerable height. But being very heavy, it descended.
okay.
And it happened at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. When people
And
were sleeping.
for some strange reason, a lot of habitation was allowed to come up within 50 to 100 meters of the factory, which I have no answer to even today. How were permanent multi-storied
Residences.
houses given permission to locate their residence so
I
close
guess
to a factory?
that is another story, isn't it, by itself?
No, but then, people died. It has a very sweet odor. People smelled it and they ran, but they were engulfed in the vapor. They got asphyxiated. A few died. I think 9 people died due to asphyxiation. 2 boys died because they were trying to escape on a bike. They slipped off their bike and hit their head and died. 1 boy was on the first floor or second floor of his house, and the vapor came and hit him. He went dizzy and he fell from the balcony.
So you, as a committee member on the panel, were your inputs taken as a chemical engineer? People actually listened to the valid points and they went back to their books and checked out your validity of what you were saying?
Oh yes. I was called to the factory on the day of the leak.
Okay.
And I went there.
Okay.
I went there. I went close to the tank where the leak was happening.
Okay.
The local director of factories wanted me to certify that all the necessary precautions were
Had been
taken. I interacted with the production personnel. It's a product that, a substance that I worked with.
Was there a lot of nostalgia when you went into that factory again?
Oh yes, a lot. A lot. But it was a business-like trip and people were all in panic.
Yes.
For the next 3 days, government officials, ministers had come. We had meetings. And, well, there were no further deaths. A very interesting thing happened on that day, not that day, for the next 3 days. Pulmonologists called me. Because, I had put a post on Facebook allaying the fears of people, saying, don't worry, this is not going to happen. It's a very simple treatment. So they said, what is the treatment? We have never come across this in our entire medical history. They said, 2 patients have come, we don't know what to do. I told them what to do.
You did?
I told them what to do. And they said, so that's it? I said, yeah, that's it. Put them on a nebulizer, give them some nice, rich air.
Oxygen.
And oxygen. Huh?
And they were okay.
A lot of humid thing. And they'll feel happy. To make them happy, keep them for an hour or hour and a half. And they called me back saying, thank you very much, sir, they're all fine.
Oh, that is wonderful. So, Vizag has actually respected you. You're a common man, but at every stage you have proved that, even a common man cannot be underestimated. You've done things much beyond your times. And there are many ways. All of us in Vizag have a story to tell. So for all our listeners out there, today I have the common man of Vizag who has something uncommon. The stories that he has told you will always remind you that, all of us have these stories. You and I are all from Mana Vizag. But Vizag leaves such an impression on you that we simply become simple heroes in our own way. You and your tribe of clowns, you and your people in the the NGO, the kind of service that you're doing, Rohit has, will live on and on forever because you people have made him, a household name. It's such a pleasure to have my better half on this program today. And through all these thick and thins, to all these, valleys and mountains that we've traveled in life, there's only one thing that I have learned. Vizag makes you stronger because of the vibration it brings. It makes you spiritual because of the beautiful religious temperament that the city has. The waters, the mountains make you strong. Each one of us can feel the pulse of Vizag. So, if you're wondering, what is Made in Vizag all about? It is about us. Mana gurinchi, me gurinchi, na gurinchi, ina gurinchi. Thank you for watching, and I would like you to sign this cup, sir, so that you can keep it in your own house and your wife will feel proud that you once visited her on a chat show.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
In parting on this show, I would like to say, marriages are the most beautiful things in life. For all those who are watching me, a marriage is a commitment between 2 individuals. It is a forever commitment. When you make a promise to somebody, don't just make it. Make it sincerely, because for you it might be just a commitment. For them it could be their life. Vizag teaches us such simple things. So the next time you come to Vizag, remember, love the city, love yourself, and love all the people you meet, because we are simply Mana Vizag. Thank you so much. God bless you. Let us take a picture, sir, as a memory of this